One thing that my journey has taught me is to just keep an open mind,
Right.
like, so you'll never hear me like, you'll never
Right.
hear me say I'm never doing anything
Right.
except what I just said.
Yo, what's happening, man? This is expediTIously. I'm your host, Tip T.I. Harris. And now what we do here at expediTIously is we have relevant discussions that can push the culture, the community, and the generation forward. And we have those discussions with, I guess, the people who are the most relevant to the discussion. I guess for today, as far as I am concerned, as long as I can remember, he has been one of hip-hop's most eloquent, vicious, astute lyricists, hailing from the city of Detroit. He is best known for his strong, articulate views politically and socially, along with his association with Eminem, and he's had a powerful solo career and also a member of the powerhouse Slaughterhouse. Recording primarily on his solo career, recording primarily with producers 6 July, DJ Premier, as well as writing for the likes of Diddy, Dr. Dre, so on and so forth. Man, please welcome to expediTIously, Royce the 5'9". What's up, King?
My brother, what's up? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm coolin', man.
Love and respect,
man. Likewise, man. Thank you for coming to share your wisdom, man. With
man, I'm honored.
With me and the rest of the guests here.
Yes, sir.
But now you've stepped into the world of producing.
Yes, I did. Yeah, man. I'm
What made you wanna put another feather in your cap?
I didn't want to.
How did it happen?
I was in the studio. My last album was called Book of Ryan. It was extremely personal.
Right. Dope.
Thank you, man. You know how it is when you, as an artist, we feel like we said what we wanted to say. You know, like we feel like we let it all out, and sometimes we need to take a little breather after we do that. You know what I'm saying? So after the album was done, I was just chilling, but I was coming to the studio every day. I was just kind of like writing raps here and there. Nothing really was fulfilling. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I was writing nothing bad or nothing. It just wasn't. I wasn't ready to move on to another
satisfy
album.
you.
Yeah. So which is cool.
I know
is
that
cool.
feeling.
Yeah. It ain't no big deal. You know what I'm saying? So I started messing around with the beats. Now I originally told one of my people, I was like, man, I'm gonna just go get a drum machine, start messing with beats. We was kind of like just laughing about it. So I actually went and did it. Mm-hmm. So I called DJ Premier and was like, yo, I just got Ableton. I'm on your ass, nigga. I'm a producer now. You know what I'm saying? It's like he like, dog.
To DJ Premier, you say this?
Yeah, I was messing with it, right? So he was like, why did you get Ableton? Take that back and get an MPC studio. So I was like, you make beats, so you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, cool. I took that back, went and got the MPC studio. I sat on FaceTime with Preem for 2 hours. He showed me how to use it. He walked me through how to use it.
Right.
So I learned how to use the MPC. And then Mr. Porter, my brother Mr. Porter, came and showed me Logic. And once he showed me Logic, that's when I kind of fell in love with the process because I already knew Pro Tools.
Right.
And they look similar. So I just started messing with them, and I went down like what we call a rabbit hole, man. I just over and over again, just beat after beat after beat. Yeah.
Different ways.
Different samples and just going
Just
down
tweak it,
rabbit holes
just
on YouTube and just
tweaking different
levels,
frequencies all that shit. I get
plugins and stuff.
Attacks and decays and so on and so forth.
Same way we do with our vocals, you know. So I did that. One thing led to another. Next thing you know, I had a couple songs recorded, you know, shit that I wrote to that I produced, and then it was like it turned into another one and another one. Next thing you know, I ended up with a whole album. So I did the whole album, and I was trying to do other things, and everything kept leading back to that.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit of a universe hippie, man. So like if things feel like they just keep falling into place or they keep going in that direction, then I'll just go with it. I won't, you know what I'm saying? I won't fight against it. I just go with it, even though I didn't necessarily have the confidence to say, yo, I'm gonna produce my own album this soon. But it happened that way. So
and so now, Book of Ryan was that album?
No, that's this album.
Okay, Allegory.
Yeah, yep.
Got you. So between Book of Ryan and Allegory, you took on the tall order of becoming a producer.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like
And everything that you produce, you've learned between Book of Ryan and Allegory.
Yeah. But it wasn't even like right after. This was like within the last year. I haven't even been producing probably a year. Probably a year. Yeah. So
do you think that that production it made you more interested in making music again, as far as a lyricist? Like when you made your beats, the first one that you felt was fat, did you immediately come up with something to it first? Did you think, let me write to it, or let me get this to an artist?
You know what was happening, bro? Cause it did give me a new inspiration to making music. I wasn't necessarily uninspired to make music per se. It was just one of those things where I needed to wait to see what was gonna make me jump, because I didn't I told myself after I made Book of Ryan that I wasn't gonna do another album without knowing exactly what I'm doing. When I do my next album, I want to have all the producers in the same room. I want to know exactly what I'm talking about.
Sure.
I don't want to just start randomly cutting songs, because it's been 20 years, man. You know what I mean? So I kind of felt like that. So now initially when I start coming up with beats that I thought were cool, I couldn't write nothing to them. I don't know why. So I called Porter and was like, yo, man, you ever have a problem where you couldn't write? He's like, yo, you have to write to the skeletons. Trust me. Write to the skeletons. Write as soon as you got something down that's looping, drum-wise, start writing. And he was like, add to it later. And I did that. I started doing that. So I started coming up with songs, adding to them in Pro Tools. And after a while, it was just like I started being able to come up with shit to everything I made. You know what I mean? But, that's when I got a little bit more comfortable with the process. But I'm also one of those people, man, like I'll sit and practice all day. Like all day. I won't stop.
Practice what?
Practice making beats. Okay. Writing. You know what I mean? Like I got my own studio now, so I'll literally stay in the studio for weeks. I'm a practitioner. You know what I mean? I work like a doctor. You know what I'm saying? Like I come in like a residency. Yeah. I got closets in my studio. Right. I got clothes hanging up. In case I got to catch a flight. It's like an apartment. You know what I mean? So I prefer to work that way, because I can't. When I go home, I can't get in and out the door like that because I got daughters. You know, so it's like I can't. I'd rather get them on FaceTime and shit. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I know. I definitely know the feeling. The hardest thing is, you know what I'm saying, leaving when your daughters don't want you to go.
Yes.
The sons, you know what I'm saying, it's all right. You'll be okay.
Yeah, because they don't care.
Yeah, but your daughters, it's a different dynamic. So look, right? How many songs would you say you've produced now?
I produced. I got the track listing is 22 on my album, but that's also skits, small, quick verses, in and out. Because the album is kind of like in pieces.
Got you.
And it's like I've been saying, like if it was like a painting, this would be my album with the most small splashes of paint on it.
Right.
It's just real choppy. It's in different portions, and it's the continuity is there.
Is it abstract?
Yes, very.
So it's not a complete narrative like, say, the Book of Ryan.
Yeah, it's not a complete narrative, but there's so many different touches on what I'm saying, what's being discussed, that
a lot of shading and coloring.
If you listen to the whole thing, then you get the complete thought that's being presented to you.
Right.
But it's being presented to you in a way where it's ba 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 ba. There's not one song on there that's a conceptual song.
Right.
Everything is just in pieces, on purpose. You know what I mean?
Now you and I, we did a record together along with Sci-Hi.
Yeah.
And Siri the Kid, and
White Gold.
And White Gold?
White Gold.
White Gold.
Yeah.
Which is a dope record called Black Savage. I enjoyed myself thoroughly.
Because you smoked it. You smoked it.
Man, shit. I couldn't come in that bullshit now. I couldn't come in that bullshit. And also, we shot the video. Where were we at? In L.A.?
Yeah, we was in L.A. We were in Calabasas.
Yeah. Which is it was a dope shoot, man. Shit came out fire. Did you produce that record as well?
I did the whole album.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Now, but you can't tell me that the only person you produce for is Royce the 5'9".
Yeah, I produced 2 songs on Eminem's album.
Okay.
I produced Darkness and I produced You Gonna Learn.
Gotcha. So on the new one.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. Now when you get Eminem tracks,
Mm-hmm.
do you just say, "Hey man, check this out. I made this. Thought about you," or do you have a hook with it, or like, how do you present this? Do you have to sit down with him and say, "Hey man, so this is what I'm thinking," or do you just send it to him and let him go off?
Well, here's the thing with Marshall. Like I didn't know that he would rap to my beats this fast. I thought that it would get to a point where he would like my shit, but we was on the road together.
Okay.
And you never did shows with him, right? Before
shows. Nah.
Okay, so when we go to the venues for his shows, he has like a whole compound, his whole side where nobody else is at, right? He doesn't come out of this side. And then there's another hallway where everybody else is at. So I'm in my dressing room because I was also opening up the show. I come out on his set, but I also was opening up the show. So I had my own dressing room. And I was making beats in the dressing room. I was playing beats. This nigga came all the way from his side. So he walking through our side, and everybody looking at him like, what the hell is he doing out of? You know what I'm saying? People thinking it's like an emergency or something. And he's running in the room to ask me, yo, what was that you just was playing?
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I'm just going through beats. He was like, yo, that last one you played, send me that. And I was like, oh shit, okay. And
that's the best case scenario.
Yeah, so he turned around and walked away, right? Everybody looking like, holy shit, you know what I mean? So I sent him the beat. He didn't actually end up rapping on that one, but just the fact that he did that gave me the confidence to start sending him more stuff.
Gotcha.
So the Darkness beat, I sent him. And he called me and was like, yo, I think I came up with something to that one. Send me the stems to it. So I sent him everything he needed. And, of course, he recorded to it. And, of course, he added, you know what I mean? Because he's a producer as well.
Right,
yeah, so
right.
he added to it. And that was that one.
That's how Eminem shit always sound like Eminem.
Yeah.
No matter who did it, whether Dre did the beat or whomever else, man. That shit gonna always sound like him.
He's not comfortable unless it's he got his touch. You know what I'm saying? And he's like he's a real big chord progression guy. Like that's he got to hear chord progressions a certain way. And if he can, he goes in.
Right.
You know, now You Gonna Learn was I played him that one with the hook on it already.
Okay.
Yeah, and he loved the hook and he loved the beat. He added to that one too, but he pretty much just rearranged it.
Right.
Because I put my verse on there and I had it on there before him, so I put my verse on there and he took my verse and put it first, and then he just rearranged it, added some music to it.
Got you.
Another day at the office.
Now, I don't know. I haven't heard you speak much about this publicly, but as a fan, I gotta ask, what happened with Slaughterhouse?
I think it just kind of ran its course. It's always been like a time thing. You know, like when we first formed the group,
right? We
all had the exact same goal, and that was to just get together on lyrically and just tear shit up. You know what I mean? And then as it grew, which we put 7 straight years in together. As it grew, you know, people started doing other things. Like Joe started doing the media thing. Crooked is doing the media thing now. Joel just got married. Congratulations to my brother Joel. He just got married. He all skinny now. He hooping every day. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I did the Prime thing. You know, me and Preem went and did 2 albums. Right. So, you know, like other things came into play. And then that's pretty much it.
I mean, but is there no like there's no desire to reconnect and build and see what this separation has brought you guys as far as added to your repertoire? You know what I'm saying?
You know what, man? I'm always one thing that my journey has taught me is to just keep an open mind. You know, like, so you'll never hear me like you'll never hear me say I'm never doing anything except what I just said. but I mean, I'm open to whatever. I think since I'm a little bit more seasoned, I got a little bit more foresight. I can kind of, you know, my instincts serve me a little bit better now.
Yeah.
Because it's important to know when to invest time and when not to, because the time is so valuable. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't get that back. So, and it's so many different things we can partake in at year 20. You know, so it's better to be selective and decide, you know, what you're gonna do. Because if I'm going into something and I see Joe and Crook need to talk and they ain't talked, I'll wait till after they talk. You know what I mean?
I get that.
Cause like you know, it's like.
Is there any personal?
We got to put our best foot forward.
Are there personal differences that would keep motherfuckers from working, or is it all just professionalism?
I think it's mostly professionalism. There are a few personal.
It's Joe, ain't it?
No, we'll see.
Damn, Joe.
We'll see.
God damn. You had to fuck this up for us. We was enjoying this shit. No. It's not Joe.
He ain't fuck it up.
Okay.
It's just Joe just mentioned something that Crook did on one of his recent podcasts. I can't remember which one. Somebody
I haven't heard it.
Yeah. He just mentioned something Crook said in a verse, and he addressed what Crook said in the verse. You know, like it's small stuff. It's not nothing big like that.
So it's just kind of like Crook is being vocal about, you know, I guess whatever the conflict is or was.
Yeah,
and Joe's telling his side.
Yeah, Crook is responding to something Joe was vocal about.
Okay, so Joe was vocal about something.
Well, they both vocal.
And okay,
they both vocal. Okay. They both got the equal size shoe on.
Yeah. So what if? But listen, what if we could just sit down and just air the shit out?
We could do that.
I think we should just sit down. I think that
we could do
as
that.
black men, you know what I'm saying, man? We all black men, we all businessmen, and we all fans of music and fans of the culture. So we can sit down. The one thing I always like to start with, the one thing we can agree on, the culture.
Yes.
All right. We both agree that we can be more significant contributors to the culture if we sit down and hash it out and lead by example.
You sound like me, bro. You sound like me. I mean, listen, man. Like I told Crook, we're more valuable together.
That's right.
Than we are divided. They want us to divide.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like I hate to see us divided, especially when it's nothing super personal like that. But, you know.
If it ain't no dead bodies, man, no blood shit, that's what I'm saying. We both could get over this shit, move on, and go get some money. Yeah, white people do it all the time.
Yes. Because it ain't even beef. It's not even like they dislike each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just something. It's just a conversation that haven't been had yet. You know what I mean? And
I'd invite Crook. I'll invite Joe. Of course, you know you're always welcome. The entire Slaughterhouse. You guys can come here, sit down, and share with the people at expediTIously what it's gonna take for y'all to goddamn at least move forward and do an album and a tour. You know what I'm saying? I think that, you know, it's been what you got now. You got Griselda.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The Locks finna put out a new project.
Yep.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a
great time for groups.
I feel like coming together is some shit that y'all kind of brought to the table.
Mm-hmm.
So now that y'all made this shit popular, you should reap the benefits. And I that's just my personal opinion as a fan. You know what I'm saying? All of y'all are dope separately, and everybody's having their own measures of success separately. But when y'all come together to do that shit, it ain't nothing else like it.
We need to line that up, man.
Yeah.
Which camera is it?
I don't want I think you on this one.
Hey,
I'm on that one. You on this one.
Crooked Eye and Joe Budden. We need to line that up.
Yeah.
My two buddies.
Yeah, man. I think, man, I'll be looking forward to it. I ain't gonna lie to you. So you say you keep mentioning it's been 20 years.
About 20.
How did you enter the business? What got you into the business?
I came in early with M. You know, I came in early. I went to New York. I told myself I wasn't gonna come back until I got a record deal. So I went to New York, and I was staying in New York with my boy Eric, and we've taken meetings with labels. And I remember I was about to sign a deal with Herbie Lovebug.
Okay, did you say 20 years ago?
This was
in 2000.
Bro, yeah, this was before that. This is like 90. This is like 98, 99.
Okay. Herbie Lovebug. I started thinking back in the 80s.
Brother, he had a situation through I want to say Universal.
Herbie Love Bug is a pioneer, man, in, East Coast hip-hop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I believe he was behind with Salt and Pepper.
Yep, he produced all the Salt and Pepper stuff. He did way more than that, but I can't think of it.
And he had was Dana Dane or Kwame or somebody?
He may have did Dana Dane, yeah.
But he's you know what I'm saying, definitely legendary on the East Coast hip-hop scene.
Yeah, bro, he was one of the only ones who kind of like understood the music that I was playing for people, because everybody was just kind of like declining it, you know. And he said he liked it, and we was putting a deal in place. And I remember me talking to Marshall and telling him that I was about to sign a deal with Herbie Love Bug, and he was like, "What?" He was over there with Dre.
Right.
You about to sign what? And he was like, "No, you not."
Damn.
So he played my demo that I was playing for people for Dre. So I remember coming home and being in my mom and dad's house, and my dad coming in the room and saying, "Ryan, you somebody named Dr. Dre on the phone for you?" I'm like, "Nigga, what?" I said, "What? Really?"
Yeah.
So I got on the phone. I'm like, "Hello?" He like, "Hey, what's up? It's Dre." And I knew it was him immediately, man. My heart dropped, you know what I'm saying? Because I never even like met a celebrity before, you know what I'm saying? Especially not one of my idols.
But you homeboys with, one of the big. Oh, okay, but at the time, this was before he dropped.
I was like 20 years old.
Gotcha.
Marshall was still a kid, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, I'm wondering if you want to come out here and mess with us. We working on the album. I was like, yeah. So that was my first time going to LA. Flew out there, first time being in a mansion.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Gotta do it.
Yeah, Dre was real super cool. You know what I'm saying? So we worked on a Chronic 2001.
How did you find working with Dre as far as the recording process? Because I've worked with Dre, and that is the most rigorous, meticulous, methodically tedious session I've ever been in. Shit be dope when it's finished.
Yeah.
But I've never said the same line so many motherfucking times in my life.
Dog, let me tell you something.
It seemed like Dre want everybody to sound like they from Compton.
Bro, he got... Hey, listen. He's
like, no, nigga, say it like this, though.
When we was...
Like, bro, I don't talk like that, my guy. You know what I'm saying? But
we was doing that back then, for some reason, I don't remember him being as meticulous as he is now.
What?
I don't remember, for some reason, because I wrote a couple songs.
I get the same thing from everybody, though. Snoop say this.
Yeah. I wrote a couple songs.
Problem say this.
I wrote a couple songs. They didn't make it.
Okay.
And then when I wrote The Message, which was about his brother, and I didn't even know he had a brother, and I didn't know his brother got killed.
Damn.
So I wrote about something that had just happened to me. My boy Ye got killed right before I came out there. This happened to me. Right. So I was writing about my own experiences. When I tell you, bro, he ain't changed one word. Not one word. Not one word. He didn't tell me to say nothing over.
Damn.
He was looking at me through the glass while I was cutting the vocal, and he was just looking at me like this.
Damn.
And I thought he didn't like it. Because I was just like,
hey, man, Dre got a hell of a poker face, man. You'll never know what this man thinking just by looking at him.
Yeah, but the nigga got like a divine, like, he got like this thing where it's like he just know. When he know, it's right. You know what I'm saying? So I could see where that would turn you into a meticulous producer. Yeah. But he, back then when we working on the Chronic, I feel like he was going way more off of feel. It was like, because, when you're working on the Chronic album, I think he knows what he wants prior to. And I think by the time he got to Detox, it was so many different things he could do. And it was so many people who wanted to be a part of it. And it was so many amazing artists who took part. It was almost like it was getting done in different pieces.
Man, I dedicated about 6 months of my life to that shit, man. Best times I had now. I met some amazing people very early on. Met Kendrick very early on. Anderson .Paak very early on. Just a lot of us kind of just dove in head first, and this shit never came out. But
this shit was, I heard all of it. That shit was fire.
I don't know why the fuck he ain't put it out.
He should have did something with it.
Man, that shit, he still can. That shit still dope.
Yeah.
I mean, So that, you say, was the moment that kind of got you into the business. Like, how did that change your life?
Well,
and not when it came out and the money came. I'm talking about how did that particular moment, that opportunity, change your life?
I mean, being in Detroit, bro, traveling to Cali for anything, nigga, it's like that's a step. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like, but going out there to work with Dr. Dre, I didn't necessarily feel like, oh man, I made it, but it definitely changed me in the sense of, okay, my belief system is even more now because I already was to a point where I wasn't putting into my head like a backup plan or nothing like that. Right. You know, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna think about nothing to fall back on. If I fall, I'm gonna fall forward. You know what I'm saying? Right. So once the labels that I took meetings with on the East Coast found out that I was out there with M and Dre, of course they wanted to meet again. Okay. So I went back out to the East, met with Tommy Boy Records, played them the exact same demo that they passed on the first time. Nothing changed. No new songs. Right.
But were there new people in the room?
Well, we had Dr. Dre on the phone.
Oh, well, shit. What the fuck?
we had Eminem involved. You know, like, and once that happened, you know, they thought the music was amazing.
No brainer.
You know what I'm saying? So you know that. And once I
how
signed,
did that make you feel? Because I know it's kind of like, you know, a two-sided coin. On one side, you're relieved because you knew that you were right and the shit was dope all along. On the other side, it's like, man, all I had to do was get another motherfucker on the phone to tell you this shit was dope. Yeah, that's it.
I can't even remember how I felt at that moment. I know how I feel about it looking at it in retrospect. You know, looking at it in retrospect, most people at labels, and it's even worse now, most people at labels don't really know.
That's real.
You know, and that's no disrespect. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. And I say that because I feel like a lot of young artists, they put their lives in these people's hands. They trust what they have to say, right? Because they don't want to fuck up.
And then when they tell you something like, you know what you should do, this right here. And then when the young artist is gonna look at him like, okay, I do this, and okay, good. So that'll make it better. Nah, not necessarily. It's gonna make it better to him.
Yeah, exactly.
And he is not the judge and jury.
If it doesn't work, it affects the artist. Yeah. Now, one thing I'm not cool with is these guys at these labels, they get to be super wrong and they just bounce right back from it. Yeah. Like somebody told Jay-Z when he couldn't get a record deal, which made him form Rockefeller, that he needed to rhyme more like the Fushnikins.
What?
Whoever this individual is should never be able to work again in hip hop.
That's real.
He should be tarred and feathered. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be that wrong, man. It's like,
that's real.
It don't get more wrong than that. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
they only count the wins. They don't never count the losses, man.
Shit's crazy, man.
Speaking of wins and losses, man, I know you get asked this. You know, I mean, it's what seems to be a never-ending beef between Eminem and Nick Cannon, the two most unlikely adversaries ever. What? I know you've opened up about it before, but like, explain to us why this shit won't just go away.
Well, I know M came out on the Fat Joe record and mentioned Nick. I don't know if he thought Nick would take it this personal. You know what I mean? Like, because I know Nick came on your podcast,
right? And he brought we spoke on it.
It was the same song and dance. He was gonna beat Marshall ass and all of this. He flew to Detroit looking for Marshall to beat his ass. All this malarkey. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you know, like, we just find it interesting. Us in Detroit, we find it interesting that people just assume they can whoop somebody's ass just because that person is a big star, you know, like, or just because you took a couple boxing lessons, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody else can't crack, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, it's funny, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's nothing personal, you know, and no big deal like that. So, I think if Nick had just responded to what Marshall said,
as far as on wax.
Yeah, which he did.
Listen, wait a minute. Listen, okay, so what you're asking is, What you're asking is, so basically you want him to kickbox with the Karate Man.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if he just would have responded.
Or box Mike Tyson.
No, what you talking about?
No, because like if Nick gets on wax and keeps it on a song, well, he's putting himself in a terrible disadvantage at that point.
Yeah, but that's all he been doing. He just been song after song after song after song. My thing is, he should have just responded, and
and let it go.
Yeah, because it's just.
It is a long time, man.
Yeah,
it's a long time, and it's still about Mariah. Is it still?
I guess. I just don't. I mean, you know what I'm against.
But
I'm
neither
against.
one of them are have interest in Mariah right now. So why would the beef should die with that particular relationship?
It's a respect thing. I think if in order for it to truly go away, if Nick really feels that disrespected by him, maybe they should talk. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
That's then that is a very an adult mature solution.
Yeah, I mean it ain't nothing personal. You're not beating nobody's ass, so you might as well talk.
Just talk.
Yeah. So I mean that's what I feel about it.
I can dig that.
I feel like if it doesn't get addressed
in the
too much more going forward, I think it'll just go away.
Okay.
Because it's not an issue, you know what I mean? It's not nothing. Marshall sitting nowhere tripping about it.
And both of them getting they making so much fucking money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, this shit has to kind of get in the way of the celebration at some point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I really wish, and again, I will invite you guys. If you guys want to use this, you guys want to sit at this desk and have a conversation right after Slaughterhouse, you guys can come right up.
We just all come in at the same time.
Everybody just come in.
One big dysfunctional ass family and shit.
I'll bring the Hennessy.
Bro, it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing that could be said on a record. It's nothing that could be said on a record, man, between two hip hop artists.
Right.
That should even warrant anything to spill outside of the booth. If it's like that, like if you a person who've been in serious situations before, you don't go to that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the last thing a nigga like me want to do. I don't want to have nothing to do with anything where lives is gonna be at risk.
That's real.
I'm gonna always look for a peaceful solution first. That's part of my sobriety. It's who I am as a man at this age.
Err on the side of caution.
Yeah. You know, I mean, shit, man.
Now, you mentioned sobriety. How long have you been sober?
Almost 8 years.
So sober, like completely sober, no weed, no liquor, no nothing.
Absolutely.
Sober.
See, the good thing about me is I never got into weed.
Uh-huh.
I never could smoke weed.
What was your drug of choice?
Liquor, Patron.
Okay, so you're alcoholic.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Without a doubt, I was the best.
And what made you wanna kick the habit, or what made you want to live a sober life?
Yeah, I got to that point where.
What was your rock bottom?
I got to a point where I like to call it a spiritual awakening, but I was so tired of just making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. I was tired of hurting my wife. You know what I mean? And I was just like, I was tired of like being a real bad judge of character, inviting in all the crazies,
right?
Inviting in all the negative energy. You know what I'm saying? I would just bringing a lot of badness onto myself. You know what I'm saying? And it got to a point where I just wasn't having fun no more.
Gotcha.
You know, it started out fun. You know, I started drinking when I took my first drink with Dr. Dre. You know what I mean? So I mean, it started out fun. You know, we were having fun, and then it just turned into just something I needed to do. I needed to drink to write. I needed to drink to record. I needed to drink to perform. I needed to drink to do interviews. I needed to drink to be around people. I needed to drink to
the monkey
because I just
back.
passed the liquor store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just like
when that monkey on your back turns into a 900-pound gorilla.
Yeah, it just got heavy. It just got heavy. Yeah. So I just and then, you know, man, I started having girls. You know, that changes things. You know, my son is 21 now, my oldest son.
5. My oldest son just turned 20.
Yeah, see, and they are oblivious when they're young. They don't really pay attention the way the girls do. I don't know if your boys was like that, but the girls, they like, man, they intuitive. Mm-hmm. They want to know everything. Mm-hmm. They hear everything. They understand everything.
Certainly.
They ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Man, I can't be that guy. I can't be the dude online getting, exposed by girls and, always in some type of scandal where I'm looking like a cornball. I just can't be that guy, man. Like I work a regular job before I allow myself to be that in front of my babies.
Right.
Then my wife got family. Sure. Like they got to see things.
Sure.
She embarrassed. It's just not fair. Like I feel like she, for all intents and purposes, gave up her dreams so I can chase mine. Like I've been with her since we were 17 years old, so.
Damn.
I just feel like.
What was her dream?
Well, she's smarter than me, so she could have went to college.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's many things she could have did, but she got pregnant, at 19 years old. You know what I mean?
So how do y'all fight through that? Because that's a heavy load for her to carry, even if you're doing everything right. Mm-hmm. That's a heavy load to carry. As in a relationship, you know what I'm saying? I feel like me and my wife went through a lot of that, and I had to carry that, you know what I'm saying, for a certain period. And, the thing I always go back to when it's me and my wife, which she definitely does not allow me to use this. Mm-hmm. But what I say is, I told you I was fucking nuts before we even got into this.
She knew it though.
And she's like, yeah, but you didn't say how nuts though. You know what I'm saying? God bless all of the strong black women who fought it out and thought to stand by the side of their man when he wasn't shit.
Bro, let me tell you something.
Because every motherfucker been not shit before.
Bro, they're healers.
Right. And
they're
nurturers.
Healers. And when fame start driving you crazy,
right,
you need somebody you can go home to. See, I tore my girl down to the lowest compound. I broke her down. And the concept of her looking to me to build her back up.
Right.
When I'm carrying baggage myself.
Right.
I mean, that alone was healing for me. So we were able to build back up together.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, she showed me early on, she wasn't gonna just leave.
Okay.
Because if she does that, that's just giving up. Like she made sure she stayed there to work on the relationship no matter what I did. She wouldn't allow me to be a fuck up.
Right.
She wasn't gonna allow me to dumb myself down. Yeah, she wasn't gonna allow me to dumb myself down.
Right.
Just because of the music business. Like she saw more in me than I seen in myself. And I feel like you need somebody like that. Whoever you choose as your partner is the most important decision that you can make as an artist, because that's make or break.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My old lady, man, she has so much, how can I say? Like, she has extremely high like she wouldn't allow. I'm trying to think of how that would work in our household. We blow the roof off the motherfucker. I don't think, you know what I'm saying? Like you see Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Mm-hmm. That's us.
That's a great movie, man.
That's basically us. We will, you know what I'm saying? We'll fuck each other up.
Cover me.
And heal the wounds afterwards.
Right.
But you gonna have to show you can survive these motherfucking wounds.
Yeah.
If this shit kill you, oh well. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's kind of how, we have a very tough love between the two of us. Mm-hmm. But, I think everyone's methods have to work for the people that are involved. Mm-hmm. Y'all shit sounds so romantic. You know what I'm saying? She looked to me. I had to be the one.
Man, that's therapy talk. That's therapy talk. Like when you go to therapy.
My old lady sit in the therapy session to tell the counselor, hell no, this nigga full of shit. Fuck that. I ain't doing it. Hell no. Fuck that shit. When you hear your old lady say that in the mid, and me, I'm on some, okay, I'm going to sit properly with my good posture, present myself like the upstanding gentleman I know that I am, and she come with the gangster shit.
You know the crazy shit, Rob?
What's that?
Like me and my wife, we never been to a therapy session together.
Oh.
When I was at my worst, she was seeing a therapist about that.
Okay.
And I remember her telling me about it. She was talking to the therapist, and she was crying to her about everything that I've been doing. And she was like, do you want the other girls out there to have your man? Do you want to give him to them? And she was like, no. She was like, well, you go get him. Go get your man.
Oh, shit.
It's like a movie.
Oh, shit.
You know what I mean? So,
did she have to run like to the airport and catch you before you checked your bags in and all that shit?
I don't know what she did, bro.
Raining?
She put a fucking hex on me, bro. Because I woke up one day
and your dick wouldn't get hard.
Nah. I probably had a fucking pocket full of Viagra's anyway. Nah, but I woke up one day. I think I was in New York, bro. I think I was in New York, and I just woke up and I just had this feeling. Like it's time for, and you know what else prompted it? My man Marshall, I was up at his studio one day, and we sitting in the office, and we just chilling, and we were talking about something, and he just came out of nowhere and was like, hey, yo, you know, if you ever feel like you got a problem, you can call me, right? And then it just got quiet, and I was like, okay. So that kind of fucked me up, because I was thinking to myself, like, what the fuck did he mean by that? Was he trying to insinuate that he feels like I have a problem? Because I thought I was doing a pretty good job of hiding it. You know, like I was going around him.
All do.
I was lit up, but I thought I hid everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? But come to find out, I wasn't doing a good job of hiding it at all. But he told me that, and that was kind of weighing on my brain. You know, my mom had made a few comments. My dad made a few comments. Just all of the key people, you know, all of the key people that I love.
Did they see unhappiness?
No, I don't recall nobody saying that they seen unhappiness, but I can imagine
think they saw?
Anger, recklessness.
Gotcha.
Not willing to listen. You know, I did a year in jail right in the middle of my career for drinking and driving.
Word.
Yeah. So, I mean, pretty much everything that you can think of, man, like, happened to me already. The only thing that was left was for me to, you know, kick the bucket, you know, or like I crashed a car.
Yeah.
Went to jail for a year. Everything that you can think of.
Yeah.
Getting in beef with people, you know, hanging out at a bar. Man, I formed a company with a guy that owned a bar.
Just so you could drink?
No, not just so I could drink, but it was a bad decision for an alcoholic to make in business. You know what I'm saying? Because it turned into me hanging out at a bar every night, not taking care of any business.
Right.
You know, so.
Well, we're happy to see that you've progressed so much.
Thank you, brother.
We're happy to see that sobriety looks good on you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
One thing I can't see, like, I don't see Royce the 5'9", like, you know, as a fuck up. You know what I'm saying? You always presented yourself to me, on record, off record, personally and professionally, like you had your shit together.
Thank you, man.
And I think that, you know, that's the way everyone who knows, loves, and respects you expects you to look like.
Absolutely.
Knows, loves, and respects you. That's what we expect you to look like. And that's the same expectation I'm sure you have for yourself. And, you know, that's kind of, I mean, I mirror those standards.
Yes, sir.
So I can understand that shit wholeheartedly. Now, aside from sobriety or alcoholism, what would you say that you've gotten better at over the years, professionally and personally?
Communication. I grew up suppressing feelings. So suppressing feelings so much that I doubt if I ever actually dealt with an emotion as a child.
Gotcha.
You know, I think us as black boys turning into men, I think that's common amongst us, because therapy is not something that's offered to us.
Right.
And then, you know, our moms, dads, grandparents, you know, they're old fashioned in a way.
Right.
You know, they have a certain way that they deal with stuff, that most of them are disciplinarians. My dad told me stories of, you know, the neighbors could whoop you back then. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So
I got whoopers from the neighbor.
Yeah.
I got some whoopers from the neighbor.
Man.
Miss Britton.
So I mean, communication was like, you know, traumatic things happening at 11 p.m. and then 11 a.m. the next morning, everybody sitting at the table eating like, you know, nothing happened.
Right.
So we didn't discuss a lot of things. We didn't get a lot of things out. So when I started going to therapy, which was when I decided to get sober, I started to talk to the therapist about certain things that I didn't feel affected me like that. And once I got asked a few questions and I said this and said that, one thing led to another, I'm in tears. So that let me know that it did affect me. You know what I mean? And then I was able to draw correlations between these instances and alcoholism. And then I started to learn that nothing is for no reason. Right. Everything is for a reason. Nothing is coincidental. Everything is for a reason.
Man, you making me want to get my shit together, Royce. I'm telling you, God damn, man, I didn't even know.
Yeah, so brother, so you know, that taught me how to communicate a little bit better, and it also made me want to get more things out and complete more thoughts in my music.
Okay.
And that's where Such a Personal Album came from, which was Book of Ryan. You know, a lot of old memories started to hit me, and the way that I expressed them was due to the way that I was working out that muscle of communication in therapy. You know, so I always tell young artists, instead of paying attention to the climate, which is what the labels tell you to do, always pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Learn you. You know, like, because learning you, knowledge of self, is you approving upon you, and you approving upon you. You can get better at anything if you can better yourself.
You don't even know how to apply your strengths to the climate if you don't know who you are.
Exactly.
You know, I think that's the most valuable thing I have maintained over the years is, you know, I knew I was a little badass Tip from Bankhead before I was anybody.
Yeah.
And so me knowing, even though it was only a little badass Tip from Bankhead, me knowing that that's who I was before I became T.I. has allowed me to kind of like stand solid through a lot of this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I always kind of like, I always revert back to little badass Tip from Bankhead when all else fails. You dig what I'm saying? And that has allowed me, because that's when motherfuckers say, God damn, man, I met you 20 years ago, man. You the same nigga.
Man, you said something on, you were doing, what you were interviewing with Jada Pinkett and them. What was
the
that?
Red Table Talk.
Yeah, bro, you said something on there where you was like, you were talking about your daughter, but you was like, listen, if it was, she was the reason why I even addressed it, because you said something about being comfortable in that space of being attacked. Yeah. The way you worded it.
I'm fine in the fight.
There you go. That resonated with me, because I feel the same way. I feel the same way, man. I could just sit there. Yeah. No problem.
None at all.
Because I know who I am. I'm living in the center of my truth.
Absolutely. Y'all opinions don't sway me. Opportunities will come. Opportunities will fade. Money gonna come. Money gonna get spent. Shit gonna get good. Shit gonna get bad. I'm gonna be me. Through all that shit.
There you go.
Like it. Don't like it, appreciate it, ignore it. I'm still me. And the only people who have the authority over my actions are the ones that I allow to have the authority over my actions.
Boom.
My children, my wife, my mama, you know, like very, very close circle, the top of the pyramid. You know what I mean? I always tell, you know, my kids and my wife and just other people, like the advice I give, man, listen, man, you got to build your pyramid. You know what I mean? You got motherfuckers at the top of the pyramid. Ain't but a few motherfuckers going to be able to fit up there. And those are the people that you give the most consideration to.
Yes.
Those are the people that you know what I'm saying, you go out of your way for, you share. You know what I'm saying? Give your true thoughts, true feelings. And those are the people who you care about how they feel.
Right.
Below that, you might be able to fit a few more people there, but they don't get the same amount of attention, effort, energy out of you because, well, just quite frankly, they're not at the top.
Exactly.
And then you have the base. Now the base, we slapping 5, we being cordial, we respectful, keeping it moving, but you know what I'm saying?
Associate level.
Yeah, associate, constituent kind of. But you got to set the pyramid up. You can't go treating people at the base like they at the top, because then the shit that's the tail wagging the dog at that point. And I feel like all of us have had to do that. We have to arrange our lives accordingly, especially when we have so many people have access to us now.
Yeah.
It's in abundance with social media and all the other. Like, so many people want something from us. They want energy. They want time. They want attention. They want responses. They want, you know what I mean? So many people want, but we can only give the best of us to so many people. The best of us can only go to so many people. And you just got to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, you got the best people in line to get the best of you first.
Build that ecosystem, man.
Absolutely, man. You got to. In your new project, Allegory, you talk about a plethora of things. You go deep about black leadership, black economics, and the culture of black music, like right now. What got you so socially conscious? Because I remember when Royce was just knocking niggas out, rapping about it.
Yeah, you know what, man? Yeah, because I fell in love with rapping at the open mics.
Okay.
You know, competitive rapping with other MCs. You know, like my only goal at the beginning was to, you know, for Redman to like my shit.
Dope.
You know what I mean? So like, I evolved in the business. I evolved in the business as a person, and I learned a lot about myself through rapping, through the art form. So, you know, like this is just a natural progression for me. You know, once you learn one thing, that leads to another thing. I'm a very rabbit hole oriented guy. I don't know if that sounded good, but
nah, I'm saying, you know, once you learn one thing, it takes you deeper into the next thing, which takes you deeper into the next thing.
It's like, especially being on YouTube and then, you know, just reading books. I learned to be extremely open-minded to the concept of unlearning
and relearning.
Yeah. And you know, all of the false facts, and I started looking into, you know, the reasoning behind being purposely given some of these false narrative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, that we engage in and, you know, we accept as our reality, you know, just from growing up, you know, just from being in the public school system and just from being out here listening to what's being regurgitated, you know, what's being programmed on TV, you know, like what's being put into our brains, what's being put
Ultra.
Yeah. So
y'all look that up if y'all got time.
Yeah, it turns into you kind of wanting to know more truths.
Yeah.
You know.
That's what life is.
Yeah.
The constant quest for truth and understanding.
Yeah, bro. So I was reading the Allegory of the Cave Theory by Plato.
Okay.
And what I pulled from
So mark that down. That's gonna be on the test, everybody. The Allegory of the Cave Theory by Plato.
By Plato, yeah.
So mark that down.
What I pulled from it was just human programming and perspective. Perspective is a big thing that I'm intrigued by these days. It's intriguing to me that two people can be looking at the same thing
and see something different.
See two totally different things. And not only that, to go even deeper than that, it can also be both of our truths. Even though they're separate. It's your truth. If that's your perspective,
right?
It's your truth.
Because of your experiences.
Yes.
Right.
So like if I'm in a cave, if I'm born in a cave and, you know, I'm chained up and I can't look left or right, and it's just it's a corridor with a little bit of sun coming in, which creates shadows, and I got people with hand puppets on, and they're putting like figures on the wall that look like monsters, and I'm scared of what I'm looking at based off what I think I see.
Right.
And then maybe 10 years later, you drag me out of the cave, and when I look up at the sun, it's gonna hurt my eyes. It's gonna take like a minute for me to get adjusted to looking at the sun. And if I look at like a large body of water, I'm not gonna have the verbiage in my mind to explain to the people in the cave what I'm seeing. And even though this is reality that I'm looking at, it doesn't become my reality until I'm willing to accept it as my reality. Because I can go back into the cave, which probably would be an easier option for me.
Right.
You know, so just perspective.
See, most people will, and we discussed this on expediTIously a lot. Me and Pretty Ken, my buddy Pretty Ken, had this discussion all the time. You see, most people will deal with the comfort of failure. You know what I'm saying? It's familiar to them.
Yeah.
They're like, because once you failed once, you know what I'm saying, you don't have any expectation. No one expects you to do the thing. So, like, resting comfortably within that failure is the easiest thing to do. Now, to step out of there and take the chance of winning and risk, you know what I'm saying? Like, if people know that you ain't trying and you failed and you don't care, they don't care, and ain't nobody, no harm, no foul. But if you show yourself and others that you're actually trying and you still fail, that's what people that's what people are scared to experience. And but at the end of the day, that fear, that shit, they're gonna be the same whether you try or not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think, we all just have to find it within ourselves, man, to go balls to the wall and do and give 110% every time. And there are lessons in those losses. As you fail, just fail forward.
Yes. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Learn something from this failure that you didn't learn from the last one, and you're closer to succeeding.
I always tell the youngins that it starts here. All success, it starts here. Like, if you can visualize it, you have to be able to see it. If you can see it, you can actualize it.
Absolutely.
And if it's constantly doubt in your mind, bro, man, you ever seen like a old sportscaster ask Muhammad Ali something about losing? In the way that he reacts, it's like, losing?
Are you serious?
Nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, wasn't even a thought in this man's mind. You know what I'm saying?
Was it Howard Cosell?
Yeah,
I think it was.
Yeah.
And we talk about George Foreman and how hard he hit. I don't give a damn how hard he hit.
Bro, Joe Frazier.
You're not gonna hit me.
Joe Frazier hit this man.
Hit what you can't see.
Joe Frazier hit this man with a hook, broke his jaw. Hit this man with a hook, broke his jaw. He didn't fall. Wait, he fell. Got up, fought the rest of the fight with a broken jaw. His face was out to here. He fighting. He still talking. Come on, motherfucker. Come on. You know what I mean? And that's like, how can somebody like that not be successful?
That's a will.
Yeah.
That's a unwavering will to win. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny you just mentioned that if you could see it, you could achieve it. And that's something that's the law of attraction, something that I abide by.
Exactly.
I was on with Jordan Harbinger. Jordan Harbinger, he has a huge podcast, man. You know what I'm saying? He has very strong opinions. And he's right a lot of times. But when I said about the law of attraction, told him if you could see it, you could be. He said, no, I don't believe that. He says a lot of people that sit on the couch and they can see themselves doing a lot of shit and it never happens. And they think that, they're just not believing enough. I'm like, well, maybe they aren't believing enough, Jordan. You know what I'm saying? And we just had we never really got to the bottom of it. So Jordan, listen, man, if you're listening now, please understand that it's a real thing. You dig what I'm saying? And I don't want you not being the best Jordan Harbinger that you can be because you don't believe in the law of attraction.
I gotta go back. I gotta go watch that. I didn't see that one.
No, we just did it. It hasn't even aired yet.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We just did it.
Okay.
And he's a good guy, man. He really is a good guy. Y'all, tune into the Jordan Harbinger show, man. If you like podcasts with, like Seinfeld kind of humor. You know what I'm saying? But he has some facts and a lot of theories and perspectives that are very interesting.
Nice.
Tell me what you think right now about the state of black leadership, especially in music and in our culture.
Man. I mean, I feel like you have a few people who are consciously aware or cognizant that how important it is for us to use our platforms to push the boundaries and push our line. I can think of a point in time where hip hop was about that. I feel like Ice-T, Ice Cube, Uncle Luke, Tupac. C. Dolores Tucker was stomping on Tupac CDs in the White House. Uncle Luke was on Donahue, standing up for his right, for his First Amendment right. Ice-T put his life on the line.
For Cop Killer.
He made a song about killing a cop because he was tired of cops killing our kids.
Right.
And these are the same issues that affect us today. And the fact that these guys stood up and they put their shit on the line. NWA, when they got arrested at that show, that was in Detroit.
Right.
My brother was at that show.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they put everything on the line, not to be famous and not to be on the radio, but to for their First Amendment right to be heard. They wanted to be heard. And I feel like now, we all have platforms and we can say anything we want to say now. They're not censoring us now. The only thing we can not talk about is gay, Jewish. It's just a couple things.
No, it's all that.
Yeah, it's just a couple things that they'll censor, for various reasons. But we can pretty much express ourselves freely.
Can't say that.
Yeah, you can't say
hymens. Okay, let's make sure we
could express ourselves freely, and not a lot of us have a lot to say.
Right.
We
getting paid off now.
Yeah, we getting paid off now.
Paid off a lot. They were doing that shit for free. Now the money came later.
Bro.
But they didn't know it was coming. You know what I mean? Like, motherfuckers is like, saying, nah, man, I don't want to risk my goddamn $25,000.
Yeah, and everybody, and I'm glad you said that, bro.
I got an opportunity, man, to make $200,000. I don't want to fuck that up.
Everybody talking about, they want to be billionaire this, billionaire that, billionaire. Like, how are you expect to make $1 billion if you're afraid to lose a couple $1 million?
Yeah, that's real.
And we don't really, us as black men, black people, we haven't had justice, man. So we don't know what rich is.
That's real.
None of these football owners are opening up their books and showing you what's being generated. You know what I mean? Right. Like, we're still making the least out of all of this shit that we're generating all of this money and we're still making the least. Yes, man. Hip hop, our culture took over the fucking world, man.
Absolutely.
The world. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So if we collectively actually controlled our culture in terms of ownership or just had a little bit more economic inclusion, you would see more black billionaires than you've seen. Yeah. Period. Because that's where, it's when you just think about the effect that we had on the world through movies, Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood.
Sure.
Yo, man, I watched these movies, man. It made me love Cali. You know what I mean? Like, it made me intrigued with Cali.
Right.
Like, I didn't know these things were going on in this way. Like, It made me put gang culture on a pedestal in my mind. You know what I mean? As I just thought it was just some intriguing shit.
I thought it was real dope how they got them came together and stood up against the police. Like, when I found out that the Crips were a community group that came together for the purpose of kind of like protecting each other from police brutality. Mm-hmm. That to me was some dope shit.
Yeah.
Kind of got out of hand somewhere between there and here, but still, that was the dope shit. If it was ever, we always talk about a civil war, you know what I'm saying, as, white supremacists against fair and decent whites and the rest of us people of color, If we come down to that, which is really, I think, the weakest position that we could be in,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if it comes down to that, the Crips, the Bloods, the GDs, the Vice Lords, the Latin Kings, the MS-13s, the Nation of Islam, that's our motherfucking military.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So right now, while, as things either progressively get better or worse, we need to understand that those who have been practicing conditioning oneself and preparing for the moment, you need to recognize when it's time. And you need to step into a position and organize yourselves accordingly. Because I've never seen anything change in life if you don't change anything in life.
You ever heard of Derek Grace?
Yeah, of course I have.
Yeah, so I got.
He's been a guest on the show.
Yeah, that's my dog. That's my dog. So
he's a friend of expediTIously.
Yeah, so I actually made skits out of some of those videos that he put.
A word.
And I used them on the album.
Okay, on Allegory.
Yeah, because I feel like to teach a child, like, not whether people agree or disagree with what he's teaching his kids, he's teaching them something.
That's right.
He's teaching them something. They're learning. They're listening.
That's right.
So when I called him to get it cleared, and just to tell him how much respect I have for him, I thanked him for inspiring me to look for those teachable moments with my children.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it makes me feel like some people get it and some people don't. America isn't one of those countries where you can just go day to day. You know what I mean? Like there's things being put in place, you know, and there's always an agenda around you.
Absolutely.
You know, so you got to kind of find your place. You got to kind of find your place, and you got to figure out a way to look past the conflation, look past all of that, and see things for what they really are. And the thing about us, one advantage that we were able to have is that we got into hip hop, and you know our popularity grew, so we elevated to a point where we were actually able to see it for what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, when I always tell my youngins, when you get to that point, 9 times out of 10 you're not gonna like what you see. You know, that's what happened with Byron Allen. He got to a point, he seen, oh, so they're not letting us have a seat at the table.
Right.
On this level.
Right.
Now I get it. Okay, so they'll lease this, but they won't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And it's interesting to me, man. It's interesting to me because it's like we in a position now where we got to kind of take seats.
Absolutely.
You got to take it.
You know what I think the weirdest shit is?
Yeah.
The weirdest shit is, hey guys, please stop oppressing us.
Yeah, please.
Will you please treat us fairly? Will you please stop being unfair to us? Because the odds are, if you're being treated unfairly, if you're being oppressed, it's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
It's being done because someone else wants to maintain a significant advantage over you.
There it is.
And they will not cease to do so unless by force.
Yeah, just because you're asking, it
doesn't even make sense to ask.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Either you're going to stand up and make the shit happen the way you want it to happen, or you're not.
Mm-hmm.
You say that you have an art of studying people. Mm-hmm. You enjoy the art of studying people.
Yeah.
What are your spidey senses telling you about this guy right here with this camera? This gentleman right here. That one with
right
the
here?
jean jacket on, with the denim jacket on right there.
Oh, with the
denim
jacket.
one. Yeah. What do you say about that? I'm just bullshit.
I was about to say I'm not a big first glance guy. It probably takes me a minute. I got to see him do a few things.
Nah, I'm just bullshit.
Hear how he talk to his mom on the phone.
How important? No, but seriously, how important to you? Do you really think it is to be able to read a room, though?
I think it's really important, especially in this business.
Right.
Especially in this business. I think vibes are very important. You know,
That's
everybody's responsible for their own vibe that they bring into a room.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something to be said about somebody that can walk into a room and kind of like get a quick sense of the vibe and then blend in with that and not get in the way of the flow.
Right.
I know people who have come to my studio and they come in and they can't tell that it's going in a certain direction, and they are the clash in the room.
Damn.
They the ones who want to, listen to this shit real quick.
Uh-huh.
Or, just, you know what I'm saying? Or turn something on real loud or get on a phone call real loud.
Yeah.
And it's like, my nigga, can you shut the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, we are working. You know what I mean?
Upsetting
like,
the flow the order of things.
Yeah, so, and that's on a small level.
Right.
So imagine, like big business being done. You know, imagine walking into a room and your vibe is the vibe that costed you whatever that opportunity could have been.
Tone deaf, essentially.
Exactly.
You're socially tone deaf.
Exactly.
I can understand that, and I can agree with that, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I heard one of your interviews where you talked about how the universe works. Mm-hmm. I think that referenced the rap, the story rap where you talked about how your son was being born and your grandmother was passing away on another floor. Mm-hmm. There's something prolific about that. How do you cope with adversity and loss? Like, you know what I'm saying? What's your go-to formula?
Well, it goes back to the mind with me. You know, it's all in the mind. And I told myself a long time ago, one thing that taught me was you have the good and you have the bad.
Right.
You know, to assume that to expect to have it all is to imply that you're expecting to lose some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the yin and the yang.
Sacrifice.
You're not even breathing unless you're breathing in and breathing out.
Right.
It's not breathing if you're not doing both.
Balance.
You know what I'm saying? So it's balanced. So it's just and that's how I look at it. You know, so that's how I cope with adversity. You know what I mean? Like if I lose something or if I have a bad day, I just look at it like a bad day.
Right.
You know, I hate funerals.
Me too.
I hate the actual ceremony.
Yeah. But
losing people is part of it.
That's right.
It's part of it, and I try to be the strong one at funerals if I go to any at all.
Mm-hmm.
But It's a part of life, man.
When your birthday, bro?
July 5th, so I'm a Cancer.
You're a Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. What are the two most important factors to getting better and growing in life?
Knowledge of self, and I would say learning yourself, and then turning around and learning how to apply. So
right.
It's those two things. If you can learn yourself and then you can apply what you learn, you can get better at anything.
Got you. Let's see here. I understand that you mentor a lot, which is highly commendable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the thing about mentoring that you find most important?
Well, it started out with sobriety, me talking to other addicts.
Okay.
And the way that my music was affecting other addicts when I spoke freely about sobriety, when I spoke openly about sobriety. And I loved the way that felt. And
okay.
As I grew in my sobriety and got more comfortable with it, I didn't feel the need to be talking about it all the time. I expanded into other things.
Mm-hmm.
And once I started talking to younger artists after I built my studio,
right.
Once I started talking to younger artists and I seen the effect that it was having, it just made me feel good, man.
Right.
You ever loan somebody some money?
Right.
And because us artists, we talk about loaning people money like it's a horrible thing. But you ever loan somebody some money and you helped them and you know it. And you felt great about it because you seen that you just got them out of a real bind.
I usually feel good about loaning people money when they pay it back. Nah, for real. It was like, that was a good loan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That worked out. You know what I'm saying? I'd loan you money again.
My nigga, how many times has that happened?
I think like 3.
Three times?
I think maybe 3.
This whole time?
This whole time. I think like 3 times.
Jesus.
I ain't bullshit. But I mean, I also never loan anything that I can't afford to lose. You dig what I'm saying?
I don't look for it back. I just assume.
I do. If they say loan, I'm thinking loan. And maybe that's what's wrong with me. I'm going to search my soul for the answer.
Listen, if they give it, if you give it to them and they say loan and they don't give it back, to me, I just look at it like, all right, well, I don't have to. I know I ain't gonna get a call no more. You know what I mean? So shit, I'm off the hook like a motherfucker. You don't want to pay it back? 'Cause I'm not gonna forget. I remember I called you for the verse. You was like,
right.
Okay, yeah, we could do the verse, but I remember a time when we've been here before. You asked me for a verse before, and I went and did it. What happened to that one? I was like, hold on, Tip, hold on.
Hey, man.
Hold on, let me explain.
That was funny. That was funny. And I found out that I think it was my fault. You know what I mean? I never sent the verse. He was like, well, you did it and told me you did it.
Man, sent the vocals.
Oh, we didn't send the vocals. So I sent the 2 tracks.
Yeah, because I didn't want to just put it out.
Right.
And I didn't
know.
So
I didn't ever send you the stems.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I probably forgot, man. Ain't no telling. But the shit we got now, Black Savage. Yeah. You talked about putting it together and how you look for artists that you thought were able to speak with clarity and not necessarily as much negativity all the time. First of all, I'm honored to be amongst the chosen few. Mm-hmm. But who are some cats right now presently in the game that you would consider on the level that you learn from and that you can appreciate?
Killer Mike.
Dope.
Killer Mike.
The homie.
Yeah, of course. Kendrick.
Okay.
Cole.
Also the homies.
I like my son a lot. I feel like he's clear. He's a little radical sometimes.
I like his philosophies and his perspectives and activism. I haven't heard as much of his music though.
I haven't heard a lot of his music.
Okay.
But he can rap like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I look at his radio, the raps that he does on radio.
Okay, gotcha.
Because he'll go and he'll rap on Flex or something.
Okay.
But he'll be kicking all shit about what we're talking about, like on the song. You know what I'm saying? So I like him a lot. I feel like he gets his points across really, really, really good. He's a top tier lyricist.
Gotcha.
Let me see.
Shout out to my son, the general.
Yeah. Who else am I thinking about? I mean, that's probably enough people. That's enough to build a pyramid right there.
Yeah, that's enough. Yeah, that's enough for the tip. That's enough for the goddamn for the top of it. Now you said you mentor young artists, and when you speak to the young artists, how it feels and what it means to you. speaking of young artists, I understand your son, much like mine, also produce and sing. Do you persuade him, or should I say, did you persuade him to enter the game, or is that something that's a decision that he made on his own? Or do you think he had a choice?
Yeah, I think he had a choice, but I did one thing, and I told myself that I wasn't gonna like persuade him to do anything musically, you know, like against his will.
Okay.
But one day, I saw him going.
Okay, that's it.
So I said, "Hey, get your shit on. You going to the Guitar Center with that?" So I took him to the Guitar Center, and I brought my engineer with me, and I had my engineer pick out everything that he needed, you know, drum machine. I got him a machine. A machine.
That's what my son work off of.
Yeah, I got him a machine. And the shit sat in boxes for like 2 years. He never opened it. He was real young though. He was real young.
How old?
Royce, he had to be he was in middle school.
How old is he now?
21.
Okay, he's 21 now.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yep. So it sat there for 2 years, and then I walking by the basement door one time. I'm hearing snares. I'm like, what the hell is that?
Okay.
I go down there. He hitting pads.
Right.
And
how'd that make you feel?
It made me feel good. It made me feel like it was a start of something. Right. You know, and everything he ever played me, I always told him it was great.
Was it always great?
I don't even remember. I don't even remember because to me, it's a confidence thing. You know, like my thing was to just indoctrinate him with confidence. Okay. You know, like
I work exactly the opposite.
Really?
Yeah. Tell all my sons that shit sucks.
Man, I wouldn't get that from you.
Only
really?
Because it does. At first, that shit sounds horrible.
Yo, your son is nice. What are you talking
now
about?
Now he is.
Oh, okay. I'm tripping.
Now he is.
Oh, okay.
When he first came with that shit,
okay,
man, get that shit out of here, man.
But they were raps.
They were raps.
Okay, yeah. Royce was playing me beats. He was playing me
beats. The first time my son played me some beats, Messiah is my son that produces. And the first time he played me beats, I must admit, because he has like an old soul and, you know, he pulls from, like he was working with samples. So he was flipping samples and doing, so I was impressed with the fact that he could meticulously flip these samples and take this part of it and make a whole new beat. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll play the whole sample at first, then he'll show how he flipped it.
Yeah, he's chopping.
And that shit was extremely impressive.
Because you never got into that, right?
I never did.
Bro, you know what's crazy about that? I seen an interview with Notorious B.I.G.'s son. And he said he never listens to his dad. He said he never listens to his dad, and his favorite, I want to say he said his favorite rapper was Jay Dilla from Detroit, from Slum Village.
Hold up. I thought Jay Dilla was the the legendary producer.
Yeah, but he raps.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he raps. Slum Village is his group.
Okay.
You know, so Slum Village is his group, and it's about as hip hop as you could get.
Right.
They straight up hip hop, backpack, boom bap.
Yeah.
Just super nice, clean hip hop, like clean. Like JD's drums was clean. He's a scientist. He's a scientist on the drum.
Masterful with this shit.
Yes.
I hate I never got to work with him.
Yeah, bro. So I was just like, damn. And then, you know, Big is like the opposite. His shit is street.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just interesting that his son went that direction.
They always go.
My son didn't listen to me. Yep. My son didn't listen to me. He don't like battle rapping. He don't like none of that shit.
Right.
And his shit is just. He's a singer. He's a singer now, but his shit is super wavy. Super wavy.
That's how my son is, like the money shit, man. His music more mature than mine is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, they better than we was.
Yeah, but they supposed to, man. I guess, you know what I'm saying, the evolution is definitely present. Are you harder on your son than you were on yourself at his age?
In terms of music?
Well, I mean, just in terms of expectations. Do you expect him, you know what I'm saying, like you said, he's better. Do you expect him to be better? Or do you allow him the same fuck-ups you allowed yourself?
You know what? He's going to fuck up. That's part of it. But I'm not going to let him fuck up due to lack of information, knowing that I have the information.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to make sure that he knows the information first, and then I'm going to allow him to make his own decision, even if it's against my better judgment.
Got you.
And I feel like, that's necessary.
Absolutely.
I feel like I don't baby him in that way.
Absolutely.
But I do think I'm not gonna allow him to be at any type of unfair advantage if I can have anything to do with it.
Right. Well, I'm not. I expect much more from mine, and I tell them all the time. I didn't have a motherfucker like you do.
Exactly.
That's making sure your needs and necessities are met.
We learn from mistakes. Yeah, trial and error, bro.
Absolutely. You don't have the luxury of the fuck ups that I had the luxury, because I didn't have nobody checking on me. Ain't nobody on my ass. So you either gonna have to learn how to kick my ass, or you gonna have to be better than I was.
Didn't your son go? Your son went on tour, right?
Yeah.
How did he like that?
He loved it, man. Shout out to Big Crit. Took him on tour when Crit went out. He opened up for Crit, and then shout out to JID, because when JID went on his European run, he pulled the money in, man. So he been getting a lot of love, man, and his music, bro. I'm talking about
those are great people for him to be around.
Yeah.
JID and Crit.
Yeah,
because they do it all.
I'm just so impressed with how he's progressed as an artist. And, now let me ask you this. Have you ever rapped on a beat that your son did?
Nah, not yet.
I have.
Yeah, already?
Yeah, we done. He dope now. This shit fine.
I know that, but
I'm talking about not Damani. I ain't talking about Damani. My other son, Messiah, is the one who does the beats.
Okay.
So Messiah produces. He doesn't rap or sing or anything.
Okay.
Like, he's just like a straight up producer.
In there, right? Wasn't he in there just?
Nah, that was King.
Oh, that's King. Okay.
Now King is he's in the incubator system.
Okay.
He's a huge star, and he has like a lot of heart, and he got the wave, but the aesthetics of his actual skill set haven't set in yet. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to teach him all of that I can. And he like, man, they ready for me now? They ready for me now, Dad? Homeschool and tour. And I'm like, man, you ain't even, not yet, bruh.
My young G said homeschool.
Yeah, homeschool and tour, Pops. I'm telling you, you holding me back. Like, bro, you ain't even that dope yet, man. Just give it some time.
I love it.
You're like, he's at that phase now where Damani was. Well, I'm like, man, that shit ain't good enough. That shit ain't good enough. Now, Damani, he'll go back in his cave and he'll accept that challenge and come back. How about this? You know what I mean? And it progressively got better over time. And by the time he got to 11th grade, that shit was, impressive. Then I was like, shit, what you got now?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now what you doing next?
So when you rapped over it, it was a song of yours, like a solo song of yours?
Well, I done did several. Like on the Dime Trap, he did a record for me.
Shit, okay.
We got records that ain't been released where it's me and Damani on there. It's called Family Business, where Messiah did the beat, and me and Damani on that motherfucker going back and forth. It's a dope ass record.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah, man. I couldn't have planned this shit out. You know, I just couldn't have. I never imagined that the shit was, gonna take shape the way it has. It's a real blessing. I think that, you know what I'm saying, the Almighty, whatever you believe in, whether it's Jah, Jehovah, God, Allah, whoever, the universe, Mother Nature, Father Time, whoever it is you believe in, has really looked out for me and my family. Somebody has a hand in my life.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And I appreciate it.
You're a good man.
Man, I appreciate, as are you, man. Like, you really solid stand-up dude.
Thank you.
And I've never seen you present yourself in a manner that could not be maintained every time a motherfucker see you.
My brother.
And I think that's key.
Yes, sir.
What's the greatest gift you think we can give the next generation?
The gift of information. Knowledge is power.
That's solid.
Knowledge is power. There's nothing, because you can give them money, you can give them all the money you want.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't mean anything.
Right.
But if you arm them with information,
game.
That's it.
Yeah.
But all of that falls under the same category to me.
That's real.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's real. I think, I think game is the application of the information. You know what I'm saying? Because you can inform a motherfucker and tell them, but once you give them the game and show them, this how you use that. I would tell, like, you know what I'm saying, King and especially my daughters, Like, okay, so the universe has put everything around you that you need to achieve every goal that you've set for yourself.
Right.
You just got to figure out what you have around you and how to apply it to move you forward and get closer to achieving these goals.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Whether it's you want a car. Okay, you want a car. You have everything around you that it take to get you a car. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily coming to pops or coming to moms and asking for a car, but you can get out here and find ways within, whether it's Instagram, whether it's, you know what I'm saying? It's so many different ways to get paid. This is the era of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And your ability to identify the things in your life that you can use to achieve your goal that's what's gonna make or break you.
Yo, man, did you go to public school?
Hell yeah. Like a motherfucker, Grove Park.
What did you
Doug High.
What did you and Killer Mike, man? Like,
me and Killer Mike went to the same high school.
How did y'all get where did the vocabulary come from?
Man, to be honest with you, bro, I mean, of course I've been to prison and I read and shit, you know what I mean? And I know people think that I walk around with a thesaurus and an encyclopedia all the time. But to be honest with you, bro, I have not learned more vocabulary words from anything the way that I have from conversation. Just engaging in discussion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like, you know, I might be talking to somebody in a meeting, or I might be just having a conversation with someone and they'll say a word and I'll be like, hey, what does that mean? And then they'll tell you what it means.
Or you can process it and figure it out through context.
Yeah, through context. Yeah.
Okay.
Usually I ask, you
right.
know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because I want to make sure that they're saying it right, I'm hearing it right, and, you know, so next time
you can use it.
Exactly. And give them absolutely no credit at all. You know what I'm saying? I done known this shit my whole life. Like, look, that's how I learned the word hymen.
Right.
To be honest with you. You know what I mean? And that's really the reason why I shared it, because I thought it was an excellent time to use a new vocabulary word. Yeah. I'd never used it before. I learned it, I stored it, and I was like, hey, here's the time to use it. Boom. And get what they said. Wrong time. No, hey, man, you are not to use that word.
You win some, you lose some,
hey,
bro.
Man, you know, but you learn from all the losses. Now, we have a tradition here at expediTIously. That tradition is the word of the week.
Okay.
Now, the word of the week is always inspired by the guest of honor. I had to dig into my dictionary on this one, because you definitely inspire and intrigue me, you know what I'm saying, to dig a little deeper. Down the rabbit hole, as you say. Okay. And I just felt that this was appropriate, you know what I'm saying. It'd be a shame not to learn a new word. It'd be a shame to learn a new word and not use it. Okay. So therefore, in honor of Royce the 5'9", the word of the day, the word of the week for today, is allegory. Okay. Allegory is a story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or political one. Yeah. You know what I mean? Now, I feel like I should let you do the honor of using it in a sentence, since this is a word that you taught me. Okay. You dig what I'm saying? So we're going to use it in a sentence so the people who listen can go to school or work and stand around their colleagues, constituents, or classmates, and they can use this word like they've known it their whole life, giving you and me no credit. Okay. So. You ready? You have the floor, sir.
Royce the 5'9" has an album coming out February 21st called The Allegory.
Ding, 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 hey, man. Hey, well played, sir. And thank you so much, man, for sharing this time with us. I know you got a lot of stuff, man, going on in your schedule.
Honor and a privilege, man.
Man, likewise in return. Thank you for inviting me on your illustrious project, The Allegory. I appreciate it. Go listen to Black Savage if you ain't already listened to it. And is there anything else aside from Allegory that Royce the 5'9" has coming up?
Nah, we just focus on that. We'll just focus on the Allegory.
Okay, absolutely.
And make sure y'all watch this interview a bunch of times. It's definitely one of my. I knew it would be one of my best ones. You know what I'm saying?
Hey man, I thank you for doing it. And one more question. So where does the name Royce the 5'9" come from?
Royce, I had a. You remember the Turkish links? I had a Turkish link in high school that had a R for the medallion, and one of my people was like, that looks like the Rolls Royce R, so he started calling me Royce, just kind of joking around, and the name just kind of stuck. And 5'9", I played basketball, and me and one of my partners, my man June, we were the only two people on the roster who were 5'9", so we started calling each other 5'9". So it's just Royce the 5'9". And then before I can come up with like a clever name as a rapper, Marshall had already snatched me up and just kind of threw me into the game. You know what I mean? So I'm stuck with that name, Royce the 5'9".
Did you ever work with Jay Dilla?
Yes, I did. We got a song out there called Let's Grow.
Okay.
And then there's also another song that just kind of got leaked out called Life Goes On. So
man, that's one of my ones that got away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I never got a chance to work with him, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the contribution that he made to music is still ever present today.
Incredible, yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What about Detroit? Like, what about the sound of Detroit? Detroit, like right now, the new wave. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about it, and who are you checking for?
I love what's happening, because it's basically these guys are like they're like byproducts of something that was happening when I first came into the game. There was a you had the Street Lords, you had the East Side Cheddar Boys, and you had Rock Bottom. These guys are all street legends.
That's right.
Who could rap their asses off. They all got classic records. And then what happened, they birthed the I Swear Vezzos, the Sada Babies, the T Grizzlies.
Right.
You know, and then you got guys like Danny Brown who do something totally different. Mm-hmm. And I think it's beautiful.
Even
I think
like 42 Dub.
Yeah. It's like
he dope as hell.
What they do, it's like we need to embrace that and realize that we have so much versatility and shit like that. And then, you know, we got Cash Doll.
Absolutely.
You know, we got something for everything.
And Big Sean.
Yes.
Can't leave Big Dog out of it. I mean, I really respect his craft a lot.
Sean is a monster. I mean, you know, I just love what we got going on. I think we've always had this much talent, but we've never had this much light on our talent. So this is the perfect time for us to kind of make sure that we come together.
Right.
Because I would love to see us have a moment like you guys had in Atlanta. And
we're still having it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the way y'all kicked in the door was through unity, at least a unified front, right?
I mean, well, see, the thing is, that was LaFace.
Was it necessary?
No, I'm saying, like, and with LaFace was an institution.
Okay.
So you had Outkast, you had Goody Mob, you know what I'm saying? And then an extension of that was Parental Advisory. Then an extension of, you know, well, I guess the antithesis of the Dungeon Family became the Attic Crew. Okay. When Pretty Ken and Rico, they fell out. So that's why it's the Dungeon and the Attic.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So with the Attic Crew came the Young Bloods, and then, you know, KP came and found me. Mm-hmm. And through Outkast also introduced Killer Mike. So it's like that institution brought all these motherfuckers through the door.
Right.
So we all knew each other for real. And we was all like, you know, hang out, smoke reefer, sell pounds and pistols to each other, kind of cool anyway.
And y'all was jumping on each other's songs.
And we were jumping on each other's songs because we were the only motherfuckers that we really knew.
Yeah.
It was like, shit, I know Sean Paul, J-Bo, Killer Mike, Bone Crusher, motherfucking, and then I know Outkast. Yeah. If I ask Outkast to do a song with me, shit probably ain't gonna happen right now. Right. So I'm gonna click with the motherfuckers who I know, and we gonna rock out.
That's kind of how it is with Eminem.
Right.
You get a lot of the young guys, they like, well, you know, M don't really mess with the hood. Well, you know, he's a big fucking superstar. You know what I'm saying? He's not just about to hang out in the hood. But I'll tell you one thing about Eminem. He will.
He'll do it.
He'll do whatever he needs to do
in
order to make the city greater. Don't think that.
And he'll do it if you dope.
Exactly.
You got to be dope. If you dope and you got a movement, and if he hear about it without you bringing it to him,
there it is.
He gonna goddamn do it.
There it is.
I can speak from I can speak from experience on
Hell
that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it ain't a money thing. Like it got to be this much money and this that. Like he gonna do it for the love and the art. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I can speak from experience. Man, again, man, I want to thank you, man. Anybody who has been listening and ain't learned shit, you need to turn your motherfucking mind on, because the motherfucker obviously is not working. You need to pay your brain bill. Pay your brain bill, man. Hey, thank you so much again, Royce. This has been Expeditiously. Watch your favorite episodes of Expeditiously right now on the Expeditiously YouTube page.